What's up, family? China is telling the United States to leave us alone or else. Yes, China sent out a warning message late last night to the United States saying that the tensions are building up and our relationship is suffering as a result of it, and it needs to stop right now or it could get ugly. Was this a direct threat overnight by China to the US? Well, it sure sounds like it. The thought of going to war against China is getting very, very close, as you can already tell. Also, I have a crazy story about some US citizens trying to secretly help out Russia. You won't believe it, but I'll go ahead and give you the details in just a moment. But first, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, as well as hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Now let's go ahead and start the video. Well, guys, the war in Ukraine is still going on. It has actually been a year. Can you believe it? And it doesn't appear that it is going to stop anytime soon. But something could cause Russia to maybe force to go ahead and stop. And that is what we want to talk about today. Russia could actually run out of military tools by the spring time frame after wasting a huge amounts on its soldiers and weapons, according to a Ukraine spy that they are having in Russia. Yes, guys, we have information to believe that Russia could run out of their tools, their ammunition, their guns and firepower. Yes, that is definitely true. So shockingly enough, which is shocking considering how much money Russia actually has. So I don't know what validity this particular information is, but that is what we have today in the news. And yes, guys, it says that the country has wasted human resources, armaments, and materials, according to Major General Krylia Bunavo. Yes, they also predicted that the two nations would soon fight a decisive battle in the months to come. Not sure how that will actually turn out, but if so, we could see more lives being shed on the battlefield. And yes, guys, in the recent weeks, Russian forces have made limited advances in the war against Ukraine, according to a Ukrainian commander who recently said that the situation in the city of Bakhmut is critical. And yes, Russia could actually take over this particular city. Right now, they have surrounded it all together and they are just waiting for the Ukrainians to go ahead and surrender this particular location, which it does look like that is actually going to happen. But Russian troops on the front line are facing heavy casualties as the country continues to send ill-equipped, ill-trained soldiers into the battlefield. And yes, meanwhile, questions over whether or not China will keep providing Russia with lethal aid continue as Ukraine pushes for increased military assistance from its allies. Now, I will say we don't necessarily know whether or not China is providing military aid to Russia, but it is highly likely. And yes, guys, we do have information that happened last year, just about a month after this particular war started, in which Russia reached out to its best friends in China and asked for some military equipment, according to some U.S. officials. And yes, such a request could indicate that Moscow fears its position after struggling to advance deeper into Ukraine, more than 2 weeks into its unprovoked invasion. And yes, guys, this was back in March of 2022, and here we are in 2023, and yes, we have reason to believe that Russia is still asking for China for military equipment. Now, I will say back last year in 2022, when Russia did ask China for military tools, China's president did respond and say, look, yes, we have tools, but we don't necessarily want to give them. We don't want to be a part of this particular war. We're hoping that you go ahead and end this war because nothing can be gained from it. So yes, guys, he kind of stood up for a neutral position in regards to this invasion of Ukraine. But since then, guys, we think that some things have actually changed. We believe that potentially China could be providing military equipment directly to Russia. And yes, guys, we did go ahead and send a warning message out, or Europe sent a warning message out. We did hear from German Chancellor Scholz warns of the consequences if China sends arms and military equipment to Russia. Yes, the German chancellor says that there would be consequences if China sent weapons to Russia for Moscow's war in Ukraine, but he's fairly optimistic that Beijing will refrain from doing so. And yes, his particular comments came in an interview with CNN that aired on Sunday, 2 days after he met with United States President Joe Biden in Washington. And the U.S. officials have warned recently that China could step off the sidelines and begin providing arms and ammunition to Moscow ahead of its trip. Slotz had urged Beijing to refrain from sending those weapons and instead use its influence to pressure Russia to withdraw its troops from Ukraine. So yes, guys, that is exactly what's going on in regards to Europe's stance on this particular war, as well as how they feel about China providing additional military aid to Russia. Yes, they are hoping that they would just provide the pressure and say that, look, go ahead and end this war. It's been a year now. No major progress has happened, and nothing can come good of this, guys. Let's go back to all being friends and meet at the next G20 summit or something to that effect. So U.S. officials, they are now believing that China may be providing Russia with these non-lethal military assistance in the Ukrainian war. And yes, it says that while China has provided some help to Russia, including parroting Russian disinformation campaigns about the war, this is more tangible for Russian troops in Ukraine. And as you can see right here on NBC News, it says that U.S. officials believe that China may be providing Russia with military assistance. And yes, guys, like I said, China has provided some help in the past for Russia, including some disinformation campaigns about the war, promoting Russian false pretexts for the war, and this is more tangible if they provided some military aid for the war. Now, officials have declined to provide specifics about the non-lethal military assistance, but said it could include gear for the spring offensive, such as uniforms or even body armor. Now, according to a spokesperson for the National Security Council, declined to comment on this information. The Chinese embassy in Washington did not reply to the request for comment over the weekend as well. Asked by Bloomberg about reports of Chinese lethal assistance to Russia, a spokesman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the U.S. is not qualified to give orders to China. We will never accept U.S. criticism, even coercion and pressure on China-Russia relations. So yes, they pretty much just put it on out there saying that U.S. can't tell us what to do. They can't give us orders. They can't tell us how they feel about what we do. We are going to do what we feel is best for us and our country. And if we want to go ahead and provide support to Russia, whether that's lethal or non-lethal military equipment, we can do so, and the U.S. can't do anything about it. So yes, guys, China has put out this huge warning message to the United States telling them, hey, stay out of it. You can't tell us what to do. We'll go ahead and do what we feel, and even if we don't agree with what you're saying, we're still going to do exactly what we feel. So anyways, guys, like I said, there is reason to believe that China is providing some military aid to Russia. We don't know exactly what that is, but it looks like this is highly actually happening, guys. So anyways, just wanted to give you that information. But I will say the good news is that they're saying that the military aid that they are providing, it is non-lethal. So anyways, guys, like I said, China is getting upset. They are getting a little bit frustrated with the United States. And then shockingly, guys, we do have a even bigger warning from China directly to the United States. And this happened late last night, guys, in the U.S. time, but I'm assuming that it's daylight in China. Yes, China has put out a warning message late last night, and it says that the U.S. relations have left a rational path, and yes, they are warning of conflict unless the United States hit the brakes. This is a direct message to the United States, guys. This is a huge warning message telling the United States, stop telling us what to do. Stop giving us orders. Stop telling us that there are going to be consequences. We don't care what you say. We are going to do whatever we want to do. We are not worried about some sanctions or these types of things that the United States continues to promise if we don't do what they say. We are our own country. We have power, and we are not afraid of the United States. And basically, previous previously we were on the right path trying to work together because we do have a good relationship. But so far, if the United States continues to do what it keeps doing, yes, you are leaving the rational path and there could be conflict coming from this. Guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about this huge warning message from China late last night? Will President Biden respond to this sometime today? Because it looks like, as you guys have noticed, that the United States continues to tell Russia, as well as other countries, as well as China, that if they do such and such, they're going to be faced with consequences. If they do such and such, they're going to be faced with more consequences or either sanctions. The United States keeps on putting this information out as if the United States is running the entire world. We have got to stop doing that because other countries are getting upset and they're kind of teaming up together. Yes, guys, think about the idea of China working with Russia, working with North Korea, and then coming after the United States, and then obviously NATO to follow suit. So anyways, guys, what exactly does that look like? We already know that all of them are practicing their missiles, especially North Korea, and now the United States is building up these huge tensions in regards to the Russian war against Ukraine, which China is stepping in and helping its fellow friends out in Russia. This could lead towards World War III, guys. Yes, World War III could be upon us very, very soon. And like I told you guys before, we did hear from an Air Force general in which he actually predicted that war with China could happen as early as 2025. And shockingly enough, guys, that is less than 2 years away. Could it happen? Well, right now, as you look at the tensions that are rising in these particular countries, yes, guys, it could actually happen. However, hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully the United States and China can actually mend their relationship for the better good of this country, because we definitely know nothing can come good from an all-out war between these two mega power countries. But last but not least, I do want to show you a shocking story that is pretty, I don't know necessarily funny or not, but it is rather shocking. Yes, guys, 2 Americans have been arrested in an alleged scheme to supply Russia with some aviation equipment. Yes, these 2 Americans were arrested on Thursday in relation to an alleged scheme to supply Russia with this aviation equipment in violation of the U.S. export laws amid the war on Ukraine. Now, the DOJ alleged in a release that 2 men from Kansas, 59-year-old and a 55-year-old, have conspired to shrink U.S. export laws since 2020 as they sent Western avionics equipment to Russian companies and offered repair services for equipment used in Russian-built aircraft through their Canris Trading Company. So yes, guys, can you believe there are Americans that are actually trusting the Russians as well as creating a relationship with them, sending over information, which is definitely against the law in the United States. I believe this is in regards to the U.S. export laws. And yes, guys, these particular individuals have been arrested. I don't know what their charges are going to be, but you know that it's going to be very, very high. So anyways, guys, I thought that was a rather shocking information that I wanted to share with you. But anyways, guys, I hope all this information in this video was helpful to you today. Well, guys, anyways, hey, that's all I have for you today, but feel free to check out some of the items down below in the description. There are a few ways for you to be able to support this channel, and it's totally free to you. Also, some other opportunities for you to get things like 12 free stocks from Webull that could be worth up to $3,000, or you can also get the Amazon Prime membership for free for 30 days. Those are just a few, but if you are interested, check out the links down below. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.